I want to spend a few minutes and talk about pictures and images in Insight Maker, especially since in release 4.0, where you specify them has moved. They used to be when you selected a primitive, they used to be specified over here in the parameter panel, though now we've moved them up in styles, which seems to make more sense. So the picture element itself, which you can create by clicking picture and clicking on the canvas, or right clicking and selecting create picture from the drop down. The intent of the picture element was primarily to do um, labeling for loops, um, causal loop diagrams, and those sorts of things, so that once you select a picture element, you can come up here and tell it you want to select one of the built-in images, and here's where the reinforcing loop and the balancing loop and the unknown loop and a bunch of other images which are built in can be selected, and when you select it, it sort of replaces the image. And the thing about a picture element, the picture primitive was intended to I don't know what's that, was intended to have the text at the bottom of it by default. So now, so not only for the picture element, but for any of the other primitives, you can add images to those also in the same way using the built-in images. Though then, because the text is centered, you have to come up here and tell it that you want to put the text someplace else, and it works just as well. So you can put images or pictures on stocks and variables and converters. You can even put them on ghosts. You can put them on folders. If you put them on folders, they don't show up until you close the folder. So if I take these two items and I encircle them and then click folder, I now have a folder. If I put an image on the folder, it doesn't show up until I close the folder, and then the image shows up. So it's the image that appears on the closed folder. Now, in addition to the the, the built-in images, you can use a URL of any image that you can find on the internet and use that as the custom image for that particular primitive. I usually just go to Google Chrome and type in something that I'm interested in, and then tell it I want to look at the images, and then I have all of these images to select from. Now, rather than just do a right click on this and select copy image URL, because if I do that, I get this unbelievably ugly URL that I just don't want to use. So I click on it and select it. Once I'm looking at the image, then I can go ahead and do a copy image URL. And then when I go back here with the picture primitive selected, come up here and say custom image, then I can paste that URL in there, and I now have a picture of a bank that I could have a picture of a bank probably for a stock rather than or maybe a variable. You can't have pictures on connectors, just on the primitives. So, um, and you can resize them all you want to. So you have at your disposal the ability to make the primitives look like anything you want to that helps you um, further convey the meaning of the particular model that you're developing. If I go look for, let me get rid of that and go look for wolf, do a search. Why do I have to? That's interesting. Oh, I'm supposed to delete that one. Here is a story unfolding of a story where it's Aesop's fable for the boy cried wolf, and all of the elements of this causal loop story are images that I have picked up from different places on the web. So if I go down here and I click on this and go up and look, you'll see that the custom image for this is at this URL. So also, which also means that if you find an image in a model that you like, you can go look, because this isn't available unless you have edit access to the model. You can clone the model, make a copy of it that belongs to you, and you can then find the URLs for any of the images that are in that model so that you can reuse them. The other thing that you can do is if you find something that you like, which I've also found quite useful from time to time, is I can take this URL, I can go back to Google and I can search for the image, and then I can say search for this image, and Google will tell me that if that image exists in multiple sizes, in other words, I want a small one for something, I can select this and then do a copy image URL for this because this is just a small version of that image. So I hope this has been helpful in terms of giving you a sense of how to add custom images to primitives that you use in the model to better convey the intent or the meaning that you wanted that model to project. Take care. See you in another video soon. Bye.